Hey, True Badger Token. Nice to see everybody out on YouTube. Happy holidays, right? We're going through these holidays. They're coming fast and furious. Super excited for you to join us here. We've got a number of people up here on Zoom. We've got with us Mr. Doug Kyle, Brendan Duff, Yanni Cash, and Candace Luther. I'm Deb Caswell, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on over to Doug. Hey, Doug.
Hey, Deb, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I realized tonight between Saturday, I usually kind of do an update on Saturday, and then I do the AMA on Monday night. There's not a whole lot of time between those 2 days.
No.
I'm thinking maybe it'd be better for me to do the AMAs on Wednesday nights coming the first of the year. But anyways, let me bring everybody up to speed on nSights so everybody can get back to doing their family stuff. Worked all weekend on, probably one of the most complex or hardest things within what we're doing other than programming everything. And that is really trying to figure out exactly what every transaction is trying to be or what it is actually. And we thought that in what is called methods, they list whether it's a swap or a claim or a deposit. They have all these different titles, and we thought that was going to be our kind of our main focus, is using those titles, those methods, to decipher exactly what the actual transaction was going to be. Not the case. According to our blockchain team, every program, and I talked a little bit about this on Saturday, but boy, it came definitely clear to me all weekend. Every programming team, whether they're writing a DApp or some kind of program to interface and trade our token with, they can do a bot, they could do all kinds of things. That individual team has the ability to title that method whatever they want. And so and the way I've kind of figured that out is that we had some methods that were like 0x52347, and like, well, what in the world is that? And we had a list of them. And then over the weekend, we really got into where the transaction wasn't from our wallet or to the wallet that was doing the transaction. And so, I wrote a little code that would either return the transaction as a buy or sell, or give me a false statement, whether it was neither of those, buy or sell. And so I got a lot of false statements, and some of those said they were swaps. So today on the team call, we went in and actually looked at some of those.
Hey, True Badger Token. Nice to see everybody out on YouTube. Happy holidays.
There we go. Are we good now? Okay. And so we went out, and Deb was the one that actually was going through and looking. And what we found was, Deb, today that, people could actually swap on the Binance Smart Chain through their MetaMask wallet, where that wasn't the case before. And so that was coming back as a false, right? Where it was really a swap or a transfer. And in most of those cases, we figured out that they were buys. But the issue is that there's about 5 lines to 6 lines of transfers that go on before you can really decipher what the intent of that transaction was. So I'm working out the logic on maybe we're going to have to write a script that's going to go through every one of the transactions based on the hash. And if that's the case, then we can then on our own really know what a transaction is and what it's trying to be. And so I got to work with the programmers tomorrow on that. But it is a shift for us
Doug,
away from what we thought to a totally different process. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, just maybe we could just add some insight. So I think maybe the fine points and all that Doug explained is that some of these other, some of the other services out there, right, that try to offer stuff, right, they may or may not be showing us what's accurate, right? Because to get to the accurate information in order to show the depth of analysis that we're going to deliver in nSights requires a little bit deeper learning, deeper digging, and some algorithms to clean up what's on the blockchain, because there's inconsistencies on the way the transactions are listed on the blockchain. So we identified that while trying to present, right? We're trying to present to you guys the best information that we know to make decisions, right? It's like, for example, our COT, extremely powerful, but only powerful if you have accurate information, right? If we're going to give you information on whales, right, it actually should be the whales, or we should not, we don't want to mistake something for a whale that's not a whale. So it's, I guess the long and short is, right, it's taking more work to do that than you would think based on the blockchain being transparent and every transaction being available. So, and we have identified that, right? I think the worst case would have been we didn't identify and just assumed it was right, which I think is probably happening on some of these other platforms, because we get some, on occasion, things that would not, it wouldn't help do what we're doing. So
we've seen that before, right? We've seen it before in some of the data that we're looking at on some of these platforms that we all use, and we're questioning, wait a second, that data is not right. That's not accurate, but it's accurate over here on this one. Why is that? We're discovering why right now, going through this process.
Yeah, and that's really true, guys, because and sometimes one platform will have something right where another platform will have something different right, and it goes back and forth. And it really is because I think a lot of people haven't gone through the process that we went through this weekend. At least I went through this weekend and the team went through today. And I think everybody went, oh my gosh, But the insight that we got by doing this is going to lead to us having, I think, cleaner and more accurate data and more accurate information. And to Brendan's point, the more accurate that information is, the better the tool is for us to use, and the better the information, right? So anyways, we increased the workload because of that a little bit this weekend, but it will pay off for us. The other thing that happened over the weekend came from a talk that Peter and I had, and we're in this process. We're going through an audit on nSights, and that audit will basically, what it's doing is trying to prove that the code is doing what we said we're going to do in our tokenomics. The other thing that it does is make sure that our code doesn't have any backdoors in it, that everything is clean and done the way it's supposed to be done. I paid for that audit tonight, and that audit is already on its way, but I went ahead and paid for it tonight. So we'll have a nice audit done on nSights, which will be good for everybody. The other thing that we have going is one of the companies that we're working with does audits on these companies, and we're working on a relationship with them that will allow us to use potentially, and this is still in the process, but potentially use some of their audit information on the tokens that they're auditing as portions of our vetting information in nSights, which would be super powerful. And this company will only audit companies that are that they can have a personal conversation with, so meet some of our requirements, that they can vet the owners and the team and know who they are. So, if we can get that deal put together, I'm really, really excited about that, in terms of really giving us some real detailed information potentially on the vetting side of nSights. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about, and let me make sure. Oh, I'm going to share my screen real quick. And again, this is another thing that's going to add to our workload a little bit. So I'm sharing my screen, right, Deb?
Yes, you are. Yep, we can see it.
And I have my mic on all at the same time.
It's uncanny.
It's just a great day.
Yes, it is.
You can see the candles here are very sporadic. What we ran into is that we were paying for a service, and for some reason that service just stopped, and we paid for another service and we didn't get what we wanted in terms of the candle data. And so again, part of the blockchain process is either we're going to find a service that's stable for our candle building, and or we're going to begin to collect the data ourselves directly from the blockchain and build the candles ourselves and have our own data. So that again is a little bit of a hiccup in terms of, we thought everything was smooth with this company that we had paid services for, already paid them, and they stopped sending the data. Now that may have been an API change on their system and they didn't tell everybody. We don't know yet. But anyways, I can't afford for random services to stop if we're counting on that for data that we need to trade. So we're either going to have multiple sources for the candle information, or we'll have the candle information ourselves by collecting that data ourselves. Again, that creates issues, but we're looking at that. So I want to make sure that everybody that's downloaded the system has a clear knowledge of what we've been talking about. In COT, this information looks clean and good, but it's not accurate right now. Based upon what I went through this weekend, these numbers are going to be slightly off on this portion of the system. When we get to well trackers, we're way off. And that's because of the data, and we'll have that cleaned up probably in the next couple of days as we get through this new logic in terms of how we're going to collect and see that data.
So in light of the new Matrix movie coming out, so you guys, this is the challenge once you take the red pill. Right?
Right?
Once, if we didn't know, it was so much easier when we didn't know. Just want to believe.
But
Real quick, in it, real fast. So Doug said something, and I want to make sure people know this is a registration process. It's not a download. So if you did register, he meant, you might not be seeing the data you're expecting at this point. But the good news, we are in soft launch. We're not in the official yet. So those of you who are in here, you're beta testing for us, really. So we appreciate all of you who have logged in and are hanging out inside of nSights.
yeah, just looking around, having a good time. And guys, so again, the first week in January is our target, and we're pushing hard for that. Just a couple of speed bumps this weekend, but good speed bumps for us to know that we had. And going through those speed bumps, I presented another indicator to the team today. Peter and I talked about it this weekend. I think it's a very, very powerful indicator, and it really works off of the B&B and market cap volumes and some X factors there to really understand whether a coin has a potential to really not perform. And we're going to work on developing that as a brand new indicator. I don't think anybody has that, but we'll constantly be coming out with indicators that keep giving us deeper and deeper insights into what's going on in the market. So big weekend, lots of learning, new tool come out of it. And I think cleaner and better data will be here for us because of what we went through, or what I went through this weekend, and now the team is going through it. So that is it for the update that I have for everybody. So Deb, is there any questions that are relevant to what we're talking about?
Let's see. Candace, are you checking on YouTube? I haven't pulled that up.
Here, let me go check real quick.
I quickly closed it when it started repeating
Yeah.
in the background.
I hear you.
And while Candace is checking, we can all bounce over to YouTube and click like.
Yes, like
There
and
you go.
subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. We got to build up our channel, guys. So that, and they need to be liking and subscribing the nSights channel, correct?
Yes.
No, we're on True Badger Token
True.
at this point. Yes, if people could meander over to the nSights channel, we don't have content on it quite yet. We'll be loading up some content over there. And once we have 1,000 of you who've actually subscribed, we'll be able to go live over there as well.
And that's what we need to be able to do.
Yes.
So, okay. So any questions at all?
I don't see any questions out on YouTube. I do see we've got about 40 people watching. So thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you all. And we'll be back live on YouTube next Monday, perhaps. Well, wait a minute. It's Christmas. So we're not going to pop up with any Wednesdays until after the first of the year, just like Doug said. We may have a different day where we're giving updates as well. Excellent. Well, everybody have a very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Let me read Rusty's question here just real quick.
Oh, one slipped in.
Yeah, he says, so what you discovered, would that be why NSI, my True Badger NSI is safest showed as sold, and I have hodled all of it?
No,
that would not be the same thing. So you need to get together with the team and see what that is. What I so that you guys know, I'll try to bring up. Let me bring up this spreadsheet.
Now, Rusty, if you went through the process to open up a safe on Safufied and you did that transfer process, that non-tax transfer process, then if you go to your original wallet, it's going to show no tokens in there if you've moved them into the safe. I'm hoping that's what you're meaning.
Yeah.
And Marty, this is our live nSights update.
So what I'm talking about, guys, is
Okay.
I went out to the blockchain. I downloaded all of the transactions for, say, NSI, and then I analyzed those transactions. And I downloaded the wallet holders, and I analyzed the wallet holders. And analyzing the transactions, let's see if I can find one of the spreadsheets here. Yeah. When I analyze the transactions, buy and sell and false here, I was getting what I call double falses, like here, and those double falses were actually a real transaction. And on some days there would be 50 of these. And those 50 transactions could be either a buy or sell. Most of them were buys. So then the whole buy volume was completely off in the COTs because of this double false. So you can see it's a fairly simple formula here to try to determine whether it's a buy or sell. But when I got a double false, that's what messed things up. And some of the double falses actually recorded as a swap under what I was saying was method. And method here, you can see this is a number. You can see these are claims. These are supposed to be swaps. But the programmers that developed the program that's actually interfacing, with our token can actually name this method anything they want. As you can see, they named it a number, which doesn't mean anything, right? So now we're going to go through and determine exactly what the intent was, not based on this here, but actually based on the hash here and analyzing the hash to give us the data that we need. So much more in depth, and I think much less chance of an error in interpreting what that is. And that's going to be, if we decided today, just to finish this, that's going to be an ongoing challenge in this space because there will always be new programs coming out. And Brendan kind of touched on this, the blockchain is transparent, but it's also open source. So a lot of people are programming to what we're doing, right? And so they can name that anything they want, and all the time new things could be coming out. So it became really clear that the only way that we can really get consistent information is by doing analysis on the hash and understanding, the transactions that took place on the hash, and then categorizing that ourselves versus counting on somebody else to categorize what they're doing. So that's what we've done.
All right. And that, folks, is your deep dive into the weeds for your NSI AMA. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're super excited to bring more information to you next week. And we hope everybody has a merry, merry holidays. All right.